Good day, and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo, and welcome to day 12 of A Year of Change. Today we're going to talk about something that we sort of touched on throughout the week. Just sort of want to wrap everything up this week with, I guess, when we finally do fall off the wagon of this program. We've talked about, having a day here and a day there where you're going to have a little slip up and things like that. So we've pretty much broached that subject. This one is more along the lines of when you've gotten to a point when this has effectively stopped. Either you're not tracking or, you are tracking but sort of half-heartedly, or you just don't care and you've just gone through, or, when we get into the exercise, if you've stopped that, just to a point where, when we reach that quitting point of, as we always do with a diet or something like that. So, like I say, there are two different kinds, that we're going to be looking at. The first one is just the little slip up. We've dealt with that in, past videos. So, for stuff like that, it's easy enough to just pick up where you've left off, things like that. The second one, though, and this is the main focus of this video, is the big one. Ones where those little slip-ups have started to accumulate, and you've gotten to a point where you're not tracking anymore. Or, you think, well, I'll do it tomorrow, and you're still sort of watching what you're doing, but you haven't logged into the app to track it. Or that you've sort of gone, the other way entirely, and you've just started right back into your old eating habits. Things like that, where you're sort of undoing the work that you've done. Now, the reason I'm doing this early is because probably by now, by day 12, no one's gotten to that point yet. It would sort of be pointless to do it at, hey, day 218, in case you've quit. So I want to do this very early so that it just sort of gives them a good spot they can go to sort of a reference point where we're just starting out. So that they know where to go if it has happened and you sort of want to get back into it, things like that. So I guess it sort of comes down to, when do you consider this to be over? If you've missed one day, you can probably get back into it where you left off. Rewatch a couple of the videos up to that point, just so you can sort of get back into that groove of watching something every day. Or if it's been, longer than that, if it's gone on for 3 or 4 days or a week or a month or more, and you decide that you want to get back into it. So it's just trying to find a good entry point for that. So I guess probably the best thing to do would be try to do, look at it as one group. That whether or not you've skipped 2 or 3 days, or whether you've decided, it's been 2 or 3 months since you started this, and you've slipped, fallen by the wayside, where to get back on. And probably the good starting point is wherever you had your last weigh-in. Now, we do weigh-ins once a week. We do 3 measurements and then take the highest number. So that could be your starting point. Now, if you're at a stage now where you're at a weight that's higher than that one, it won't matter because everything will get adjusted in the app. If you're lower than that, then you're still okay. And if you're roughly the same, then, no harm, no foul. But just trying to find an entry point where you don't necessarily have to start at the very, very beginning again, because that's going to be discouraging. Not that it's, if you're 2 or 3 months in, you don't want to sit and watch 90 videos. It would be ridiculous. On top of, just not being able to finish it, you're going to get discouraged, a tenth of the way through, and you're going to say, screw it, I don't want to watch this anymore. And then you're just not going to get back into it. So if there comes a time where, you find that you haven't been tracking for a few days, or when we start in on exercise, stuff like that you've skipped a few days there, or maybe it's been longer, and you think it's been 2 or 3 months, I'd like to get back into that and try it again, then that would be the best place to start, would be whenever you did your last weigh-in. Because at that point, you know how far you can go. And if your last weigh-in was, last week, or, 6 months from now, you know that you can get to that point. You've done it before, you'll be able to do it again. So, it'll be a little more difficult the further along you are, but that would be a good starting point. And then, as you need to, you can sort of back up a little bit to, if starting off at a 6-month point, you don't want to go back to, I haven't done this for 3 months, and then you go in and you think, that's right, we were doing exercise at that point, and we were watching what we ate here, and we didn't do this, and, too much too soon, obviously, it's, going to get back into that diet thing. So, go back a couple of weeks, see where things stood there. You can go back to the very first change that we did, or actually the very first food change is going to be this week. So you can, go as far back as you need to where you're comfortable. And then, go back and look at some of the things we've talked about before, just to sort of get you back into that groove and get you enthusiastic about it again. Because generally speaking, when you want to start something like this, you're excited about it. Whether it's, from New Year's when you're saying, no, this is the year, I'm finally going to do it, or, summer starting or something like that, you're generally excited about it because there is that, that hope that it is going to make a difference. And like I say, if you follow this for a year, it is going to make a difference. But inevitably, we are going to lose some of you along the way. But you can always come back. And if you find it's difficult coming back to the point that you left off, then, back up a few weeks. It's not going to be as discouraging as, saying, well, I've got to start from the very beginning, or I've missed, 3 months, so I have to start at the 2-month mark. Wherever you're comfortable starting, wherever you think realistically that you're going to be able to continue on. And then when you hit that point where you left, anything beyond that is an accomplishment because you've gone past the point where you quit the first time. So my hope is obviously that, we're going to have very, very, very few people that are going to reach that point. But stuff does happen. It may not even be your decision. You may have an injury or something, and you may end up, not being able to finish off. Your internet might get cut off. Whatever the reason is, there are going to be some people that, are going to sort of stumble or fall along the way. And my hope is that you can come back in and make that transition as smooth as possible. So, like I say, the little ones back and forth, those are going to happen. And those are easy enough to pick up because you could just go back 1 or 2 days and, start up from there again. But the long, weeks and months in between them, in my case, the last time that I used the app was, months and months and months ago, almost a year at this point. So it is tough getting back into it. But again, I know I sort of keep harping on the community that I want to build here, but talk to the people that are here and say, I'm coming back after 6 months, or I'm coming back after 3 months, or whatever it is. You might come back and say, I've been gone for, depending on when you're watching this, I've been gone for a year and a half, and I want to start in again and do this and, have it work. You're always going to have new people that are starting with you. You're always going to have people that are on the, in the same week that you're in. You're always going to have a group of people, once this gets big enough, that, you're going to be able to talk to, so that you're not just talking with people that have already done it and, have all the tips and tricks and everything else. You're not talking with people that you aren't going to be able to, share ideas with because they aren't going to know, what's going on in week 12 or whatever it is. So whatever point you decide to come back into, my hope is that you're going to have a group of people there that are, at the same stage and that will be able to follow along with you. And, you can add those as your friends as well and sort of talk and make something up that way. So, that's really it. I think my hope, as I say, is that people aren't going to give up, but we know that we do. We tend to give up because it gets to be too difficult, or you think, I missed this one thing. Like, for me, I suppose, pizza is actually not that bad. We're still going to be able to have pizza and the stuff that you want to eat and things like that. But if something was going to be my trigger, it's probably going to be something pizza or nacho related. I can't see something like, chocolate ice cream being the one to push me over the edge. It's going to be something, that I've already had my calories for the day and I go out somewhere. It's going to be like pub food. That's what's going to be my killer. That's what's going to knock me off. That's the one that is going to cause me to say, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore, and then just start piling food into me. So, everyone's going to have their own trigger. But my hope is that, if, worst case scenario, if it does happen, even if you're gone for 2 or 3 months, that you'll come back and you'll rejoin the community. You'll be able to talk with the people that you've spoken with before, and you're not going to be ridiculed. You're not going to say, oh, well, you couldn't hack it the first time or anything like that, because the thing is, with people that are in our situation, that's the one good thing that you do find, is that we understand that it's not just a matter of saying, oh, we'll just have, one cookie, it's fine. There's something, that's wired in us incorrectly that we just simply can't do it. We just have everything by the handful. So, if you do quit and you come back, you're going to meet up with people that are going to say, welcome back, not you couldn't take it. So, and I mean, you're not going to be alone once again. There are going to be other people that are going to be coming back to the spot that you're in, that are going to need that helping hand as well. So, and I mean, as always, you can, talk to people in the comments. You can go on Twitter, and just, my main goal is, I suppose, aside from the community part of it, that even if you're gone for 2 months or 6 months or a year, come back. Don't just say, no, this is it, this didn't work. Keep coming back. You may not get through this full year. You may not get through it, after 3 or 4 attempts. You might not get through it ever. But if you keep coming back and trying and joining in with us and talking with the people here and, following along, even if you have to start over every single time, eventually, something's going to click and something's going to work for you. And whether you're, 50 pounds over or 500 pounds over, there's going to be something in here that you're going to be able to take from it. Even if it's not something that you follow for the rest of your life, even if it's just something that, this is the one thing that really helped and that sort of, got me in gear to where I need to be. That's what we want. So, think about that when you get to the point, a month or 2 months or 6 months down the road, when you think that this is getting a little too difficult, and you gradually do those little slips here and there, just remember you can always come back. And no matter what, no matter, how far gone that you've been, there's going to be someone out there that's, been in the same situation, that they'll understand how hard it is. And even if it's just a matter of saying, I just want a day where I don't have to track anything and do this, and that might be what triggers you on that slope. But, as I say, come back to us, talk to us here, and, you are going to have a group of people here that are going to understand. We've all gone through diets. We've all quit diets. Something like dozens of us, or dozens of them, dozens of us. That's it. There's only 12 of us. But we've tried, diet after diet and year after year, and we've gone to them, and then we've quit, and we've, regained the weight, and then we go back again. We've all been there. And including myself, before I even started this, I've tried this 2 or 3 times. It's just, this is why I started this video, is so that, it would be a motivational tool to keep me going every day. Because I'm hoping that, if I ever miss a day, someone is going to call me on it. Either, a friend or one of you, send me an email and say, why isn't this up yet? So, it's just, I just don't want to get to a point where, or I don't want you to get to a point where you think that, no, too late, it didn't work. It will work eventually, but just don't think that you're never going to be welcome to come back. No matter how long you've been gone, and I know, again, this is still, very, very early. We aren't even through the first 2 weeks yet. But I want to put this out here early so that when it does get to that point, you might be at month 11 and start slipping. Think back to, these very first early days where you can come back if something has happened. And you're going to be able to talk to, the same people and new people that are in the, same predicament that you're in. And you're not going to have to start, from scratch most times, but you're going to be able to get in somewhere that you're still going to find a supportive group of people and a good community that's going to be able to help you through it. So that was pretty much it for today. Just sort of wanted to say, no matter what happens, you're always going to be welcome back here. And, for the few of us that are going to slip up, and, those ones are okay, but the ones that are, for lack of a better term, the ones that are going to get lost, for any of us that have been through that, we know what that's like. So when they do come back, it's, I want them to be welcomed with open arms. So, but thank you very much. This is it for today. This is sort of the end of our 2 weeks of really, really heavy topics. And we'll see what happens next week, because I'm quickly running out of things to talk about, and I don't want to just come on here and say I ate a pickle and a bug today. So, but for now, I will leave you, and thank you very much for watching the video. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. In the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.